Hello, this is Jay Mitchell, and we are back for another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. Let's get right into it. So first we have COVID, don't let them off the hook, from John Stossel on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, agree with Stossel here, safetyism is no excuse to upend liberty. That's what we saw during COVID. We saw the government trying to make everyone safe, but that's not an excuse to upend liberty. I think if people wanted to protect themselves, it's going to be able to, but I don't think people should have been forced to do so, and that's what a lot of people were, and I don't think people should be forced to do anything that they don't want to, and that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Trump unable to post $450 million bond in New York fraud case, his lawyers say. And I said, I'm sure his his lawyers say, sorry, from NPR.org by Swamp Yankee Dan. And I said, I'm sure his supporters will be more than willing to open up their wallets for him. And I Willpower 16 replied, fool and his money are easily parted. And I replied, remember that next time the DNC asks for donations in order to save democracy. I would say, politics is pretty much all just grifting. And if you can't see that by this point, I would say you just have your head in the sand. And that's my thoughts on that issue. That's why I think we just need to get rid of politics. It's all just a grift. It's all just a giant scam. That's what I think. Then we have just some humor to start the day off from Swamp Yankee Dan. That's a post of a Trump airplane. Both one of the things they use to put they put on the cars when they have when they have too many tickets to one of the booths. And I guess that's interesting. And then we have remember that the governments are the problem, not the people, from Goshen News, and I posted that, and that's a political cartoon of two families. One on the Israeli side of the border, that they have a sign that says "We are not Netanyahu," and on the Gaza side of the border it says "We are not Hamas." And I said, and they both look very sad and destitute. And I said, most average citizens don't care for their government, regardless of country. Always important to remember that. As I said, governments are the problem, not the people. You got even in democracies, people don't really like their government that much. And a lot of people don't vote for what they consider the lesser of two evils, and that's why you gotta separate a country's government from its people, and that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Uber and Lyft leaving Minneapolis. Governor Walz wants compromise from Fox 9, and I posted that, and I said, I don't care for Uber and Lyft, but I think the government should have no business telling private companies what they should be required to do in regards to worker payment. The true minimum wage is zero. And that just goes to show, if you can't find any, if the government says, oh, you can't get any jobs, then you're just gonna be unemployed, and that just goes to show that's the true minimum wage. That's why I said the true minimum wage is zero. People who were employed by Uber and Lyft now can't be employed by them, and that's why the government should have no business telling companies what they should be forced to do, forced to pay their workers. I would say, and that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Trump. Jews who vote for Democrats hate Israel, from Politico.com by Swamp Yankee Dan. And yeah, I personally don't think Jews who vote for Democrats hate Israel, but I think, both parties are to embed of Israel, both of the major parties, and that's my thought on that issue, That's why I think they're yet. So then we have MAGA was a terrible message, but an effective slogan. Trump's loose slogan, not so much. From Tom 13, that's an immigrant link, and it's Ron Filipowski posting it on Twitter, posting a truth that Donald Trump made on Truth Social, and Donald Trump said, "Our once great country is going down the drain. We are a nation in decline. Vote for Trump. What the hell do you have to lose?" And ultimately, I guess that's a decent slogan. I think "Make America Great Again" was the better slogan, but ultimately, I think a lot of people are already voting for Trump, or some that have nothing to lose. But then probably some of the people who have nothing to lose voting for Biden as well. So that's just America for you. A lot of people have nothing to lose right now, and that's why people, I think, are so desperate. I would say that's why they kind of treat the church like it's the state, like it's the church. I would say. Then we have, I would argue that mental illness is not an excuse to stop people from doing whatever they want to their own bodies. Safetyism shouldn't upend liberty. And that's a tweet that I made in response to Matt Walsh saying, oh, transgender surgeries are all should be outlawed completely. They're all Frankenstein surgeries. I personally would kind of agree with that. I think they're kind of like lobotomies. We look back at them like we look at lobotomies. But with that being said, I would say that if you want to get a lobotomy, I think you should be able to do so. And ultimately, I think I'm very big on your body, your choice, and that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have finished member of parliament on trial again for tweeting a Bible verse from International Christian Concern, and I posted that, and I said, scary times over in Europe. It just goes to show you that the state can arrest you for any dissent at all, even if it's from a Bible verse, and that's my fault on that issue. Then we have, ladies and gentlemen, the New York Times from Mike Solana on Twitter, and I posted that, and that was him sharing a photo of the New York Times new headline. It turns out the deep state is actually kind of awesome. And I said, the New York Times doesn't deserve any attention whatsoever. It's pretty much the same circle jerk as social media, but at least in social media you can contribute to it, and it's not always going to say whatever the official narrative is. That's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have ex-prosecutor reveals Biden's secret agenda to get Americans high on weed so they can't recognize that the country is falling apart from boingboing.net by Baton 13. And I guess I don't know if Biden is as into marijuana. I think if he was, he'd probably legalized it by now. But with that being said, I personally think, if you want to do weed, you should be able to. But, I do think, it might distract you from other issues like this guy's saying. With that being said, I don't really know if it's Biden's secret agenda to get Americans high on weed since he hasn't legalized it federally yet, even though he's been president for well over 3 years now. Then we have Judge slams SEC for gross abuse of power in crypto case, imposes sanctions from Fortune.com, and that's from Ninja Lover. And I think, I don't think... I guess that's good. It's good to hold the government. The government's holding itself accountable here. Normally, you don't see that too much, I would say. Then we have natural rights do not come from the government, from LPX's official, and they shared a tweet from the Libertarian Party of Dallas County, quote tweeting Ian Miles Cheong, and the tweet was TL from Still Gray, a non-American, that the right to self-defense should only apply to Americans. Our natural rights do not come from the government nor from other human beings. The Second Amendment doesn't create a right, it recognizes one. And I said, agreed, the Second Amendment applies to everyone, not just U.S. citizens. Anyone should be able to defend themselves with whatever weapon they want to. And that's my fault on that issue. Then we have retail crime is worse than you thought from Common Sense Soapbox on YouTube, and I posted that. And I don't know if I didn't comment on that one, but just to show you that, you can't justify all this shoplifting. That's why businesses are closing, and it creates stuff like food deserts, and that's why, no one wants to invest in your city right now, because it's completely a rundown hellhole, for lack of a better term. Then we have Redditors suddenly love exploitative corporations from Reddit Lies on Twitter, and I posted that. And that was them tweeting a meme of the Reddit guy says, oh, companies that exploitation are pure evil, and it's looking at Purdue and Marlboro, but then he raises his hands and yells, yay, for Pornhub, RedTube, and all the other porn websites, and I said, porn is practically a religion on Reddit, to be fair. I personally don't care for any big business, just like I don't care for big government, and that's why, it's important to remember that those two often work hand in hand, and that's my thought on that issue. Then we have, I am the only true libertarian, everyone else is a statist. And that's from Clorox, and that's crosswords from the Libertarian Unity subreddit. And it's a meme. The libertarians say, oh, I got you, referring to the libertarian leading people. Well, then the libertarian purists say, oh, no, you don't. And he has the you're not a real libertarian board to push them away. And I said, in politics, people usually spend more time infighting than outfighting. And I definitely think you see that when it comes to libertarianism, in addition to pretty much every ideology. Then we have, do you know why I pulled you over, from Chad Muffin on, and that's a image of a cop pulling someone over. And yeah, I personally don't think cops should pull people over. I don't think anyone should have the authority to pull you over if you don't want to. And that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Honduras ratchets up battle with crypto libertarian investors from the Intercept.com by Frosty Slawman. And yeah, I don't think I think if you want to be an investor, you should be able to. But that I don't think the state should try and stop you from investing in what you want to. And that's my thoughts on that issue. And we have fed up homeowner arrested after tense standoff with squatters stealing $1 million house he inherited from parents from New York Post. And I posted that and I said, it's a narco tyranny. Those who the state supports are allowed to do whatever they want, while those who the state opposes are held to the fullest extent of the law. And I heard the tenants might have been arrested too, but even the squatters might have been arrested too. Even then, it just goes to show you that the state can even arrest you for defending your own property, and that just goes to show you that they can pretty much arrest you for whatever they want to. And that's why you have to resist, I would say, and say, no, you can't do that. You're not going to push me around. Then we have the last U.S. constitutional amendment was passed in 1992, almost 32 years ago. If you were granted the power to pass a new amendment, what would it be? From Ragnar OKXG. And I said, I agreed with BKHMB, who says repeal the 16th, income taxes are totalitarian. I agree with that. I don't think the state should force you to pay any taxes, not just income taxes, though. And that's my thoughts on that issue. And I would expect you to see if there's anything new. Government aid only perpetuates poverty, from LP Texas official from freethepeople.com. And, I definitely think that is, I would agree with that. Yeah, you just can't be relying off the government. You gotta try and be as self-sufficient as possible. And that's my thoughts on that issue. I think we're gonna wrap up there. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.